Hey guys, welcome back into Legacy. So tonight we are going to be doing an interview with Dustin from Last Arc Tactics Analog. Let me go ahead and pop him back in here. There he is.
Hey, how's it going?
There we go, guys. We can jump into this, and just to get started, Dustin, I'll let you go ahead and explain what Last Arc is, where you got the idea, and kind of how it all started. We'll go from there.
Well, Last Arc Tactics Analog. It's a TTRPG inspired by old school JRPGs like Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, a little bit of Fire Emblem, a lot of inspiration from Dragon Quest, Radiata stories, Oh, and then Lotus War. Record of Lotus War has to be mentioned. It's all built on the bones. A heavily modified and tweaked version of like the Star Wars Saga Edition system. I just really enjoyed that system, and I wanted a fantasy version of it and a game that was more in the line of JRPGs that I really wanted to play that I couldn't find in other games that I was playing at the time. Like, I won't name any specifically. I don't want to come off like I'm calling anyone out, but yeah. So just really wanted a free-form, talent-based progression type game. Because in like Final Fantasy Tactics, you could take abilities from one class into another class that you were taking levels in. So you could have like ninjas with the Dragoon's jump ability. So just a system like that is what I really wanted to have. And it's not any more complicated than that. It's pretty simple inspiration and motivation.
Hey man, it doesn't have to be complicated. That's the best part. Speaking of Saga Edition, you do know that somebody put together a Saga Edition version of Wheel of Time.
I did not know that. No.
Yes, they did. It's out there in the wild somewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll
have to check it out because Saga was a lot of fun. Obviously, Last Arc's changed quite a bit, so I wouldn't necessarily say they're like the same, but you can tell it's inspired.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. One of my favorite parts of Saga Edition, and you put it in the Last Arc, is the injury track.
Oh yeah, thing. The condition track.
Yeah, condition track.
Yeah, it's so nice to have like another way to blast an enemy down if they're like a
very
bullet enemy. Sponge. Yeah.
Yes. We actually ran a Star Wars Saga game years ago. I played a Sith Witch that I focused on Force Lightning.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Force Lightning was cracked.
The condition track was my friend. Oh, he has 500 hit points. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he can't act.
It's actually our first iteration of the lightning spells worked with that mechanic, but it was a little wild, so we just attached paralysis to it as a status effect instead.
That's not a bad idea, because Force Lightning was incredibly broken.
Yeah.
Especially when you took it 4 times, 5 times per day.
Yeah, and when you're high enough level to just use force points to spam it anyway and drop force points on its use,
it gets goofy.
All bets were off.
Yeah. So, you mentioned some of my favorite or tactical RPGs, TRPGs, which is Tactics Ogre. Absolutely love it. I have Reborn on the Switch, which I love because they fixed so many problems with the original game.
Beautiful.
I loved Let Us Clean Together, but they had problems.
Yeah.
And I've always been a big fan of tactical RPGs. I've beat Tactics so many times I can't count anymore. I know exactly how to fudge the second fight with that engineer that likes to do don't act, don't move on you.
Yeah.
I know exactly where to fudge that game now, and
Yeah, Tactics Ogre inspired not just like, mechanics and classes and abilities, but also part of the art direction. I'm sure you can tell we have that kind of more grounded approach to the
Yeah.
fantastical classes.
Yes. Uh, one of my buddies actually really loves the gnome art.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I should mention that Crystal Chronicles was a huge inspiration for how the gnomes looked. I love the ukes. Played a uke when my wife and I were beating Crystal Chronicles, and the gnomes didn't start that way, but they ended up that way, and that's all that really matters.
So he absolutely loves that art. So I'm a big fan of that art. I like the whole aesthetic. Anyways, like I said, it's uh, I'm not one of those people that'll tell you that I buy RPGs for art, but if I'm on the edge of buying it, art can be one of the things that gets me to put the money down. So
Art will get me to open a book. It just won't get me to buy it. Yeah, but I'll
yeah,
open a book if it's got good art and if I like the mechanics.
yeah,
I'll invest. Yeah, I'll buy.
absolutely. And the opposite is true. If art direction is absolutely terrible, it makes me less likely to buy your book because
Yeah, that's true.
like you didn't put as much work into it.
Yeah, you
Uh,
you. It's not quite like the same, but maybe it is. But like you get what you pay for. If
yeah.
you invest well into a project, you get a better quality project. I
Well,
guess it goes without saying.
and as a side note, as expensive as RPG products are becoming, they better be worth it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely.
I paid $70 for the Trails of Destiny book. To be fair, Trails of Destiny is great art, great direction, good game system, and it doubles as a paving stone. So it's 520 pages.
Well, yeah, and it also helps if a game's attached to a beloved IP with like
Yeah.
lore and history and more art from
Yes.
that. Then I might
Yes.
be more likely to buy it just to have the art and the lore and the stuff at my
Yes.
fingertips. But yeah,
Yep.
when it comes to like a brand new IP like Lada, I
Yep.
couldn't expect anyone to invest in it or invest their time and effort and energy into it if it didn't look good.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can't disagree with that assessment. I don't, like I said, I'm not going to buy your game just because it has good art. But if you have good art, it generally tells me you put some effort into the work.
Absolutely.
Um, that you care enough about it. So, like I said, especially for the prices we're paying right now. And I've had this whole conversation with other creatives. It's getting really, really expensive on your end to do production. So we're not.
Yeah.
It's not like we're paying exorbitant prices just because you guys want money. We're paying those prices because you guys have to pay those prices.
Yeah. Good art costs money. That's
Yep. Yep. Well, and then there's the physical production cost and everything else. I think somebody was telling me the average hard copy book right now is around $33 a piece for
just to
an average
produce.
length. Yeah, just to produce like 30 or $33 to produce right now. And I was like, yeesh,
Yeah.
is that expensive? So
Luckily, our publisher Succubus is handling all that, so I don't have to
yeah,
worry about any of that. Because
yeah,
that's definitely not my wheelhouse.
yeah. Like I said, I mean, I'll say it outright. The Kickstarter was the books were $60 a piece, but it'll be worth the $60. I'm fairly confident.
Yeah.
After looking through the demo copies and everything else, it's definitely worth that price point. So
Yeah, I can't wait for everyone to see the Atlas. I know we're still waiting on a
yep.
lot of art for that, but
Mhm.
it's basically like a just an open, persistent world. Like it's like if you ever
That's
played Neverwinter Nights, like the old school ones, like where
mhm.
a lot of people just had persistent worlds that you could just run around and just play in.
Yeah, a little bit
That's
like makes me think of things like Living Greyhawk,
how did they do it?
which uh, basically they took Greyhawk and they created a primer where when you play in Living Greyhawk, the events of your campaign, you would submit them back to Wizards, and it would become an official part of the story of Great.
Oh wow, that's really cool. That's something to keep in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little bit easier than what Aldrich Entertainment used to do with their card games, where events in the card game, like who won tournaments and stuff, would actually impact Aldrich Entertainment's story progression.
That's cool.
Yeah, they had a weird little setup, and it actually kind of mucked up their world war a little bit.
Yes, I guess some games do that still. Like, isn't Helldivers 2 still like
Yes,
the players influence the lore?
pretty heavily. Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Uh, uh, they're getting ready to drop the board game for that, and it looks really cool.
I'll have to give that a look.
I think that was that on Kickstarter already, or was it getting ready to get a Kickstarter? I don't remember. Saw something on. We were watching something on YouTube about it. So it
But
looks
yeah,
really cool.
what is it? So as you know, I played like hardcore World of Warcraft. My favorite MMO ever is Final Fantasy 11.
Mm.
And then Final Fantasy 12 is probably my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. I'll probably get laughed at for that, but the way I laid out the world in the Atlas, it falls in line with like those three games very much. So it's like
Yes.
goes zone to zone with like random encounter tables, random treasure tables, and all kinds of new creatures, legendary bosses, all the lore you need for every zone. Yeah, so I can't wait for people to see that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's the one book that we really haven't gotten a lot of information about. A lot of the updates and stuff have focused on the production process and everything. So we haven't gotten a lot of details about what each book is going to exactly contain. But I'm not too worried about it. From what I gathered, that's what the Atlas is going to be. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Atlas is also going to double as a bestiary, correct?
It has an expanded bestiary because the core rule book itself has a sizable bestiary, but the Atlas has a bunch of new creatures from all types, but it also has like 50 plus legendary creatures that are like boss monsters with special mechanics and abilities. The Atlas has 5 new playable races. I think 6 new advanced classes, 2 new Aeons for summoners. It has a ton of new equipment and items and armor and new equipment types. Like it's coming with whips and masks.
Nice.
So there's a lot of new equipment options coming in there.
That'll be nice to have. Which again is just the way you're laying it out is just making me more excited that I backed it. I surprisingly enough, I backed it. I backed it fairly quickly, and I think when I backed it, it was almost already funded, and I was backer 54. So
yeah, I think we funded it in an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, you funded it like an hour. I think it says on the game found like an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah.
So you funded pretty quick, which is pretty cool. That tells me
that was inspiring.
Interest. Yeah, that also says there's an interest in this type of gaming, for sure. As far as going into the game itself, the classes are very. I like the way you kind of delineated the classes. The base classes are very. The term I'd have to use is generic filling when you look at them. But once you get into how you've done your class development with the talent system and everything else and the trait system, you can have a whole party of nothing but rogues and they're all going to play differently because people are going to take different talents at different levels and you're going to have a way different build based on that. And that's a very, very cool part of it.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean generic is the right word for sure. The 6 base classes fulfill the most basic like fantasies. Like, do I want to be the warrior, the rogue, the ranger, the mage, the bard, or the initiate? Like and then the advanced classes are where you can specialize and build out your
summoners, champions, all that kind of fun stuff. That's actually probably the class that I want to play around with the most is the summoner. I've always loved the summons, the GS, the Aeons, whatever you want to call them from Final Fantasy.
That was one of the main reasons I made Last Ark, is because I played summoners in other games, and I was just like, okay, so I can just summon creatures from the bestiary, or okay, that's cool. But I want something iconic. I want to feel like a summoner from Final Fantasy. So yeah, the Aeons. There's 8 in the core, and there'll be 2 in the Atlas. So 10 total.
Nice.
Pretty
And
good
then
spread.
I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm guessing it probably wouldn't be difficult for GMs to work with players to create new Aeons if you wanted to.
Pretty much, yeah. The when you look at each Aeon has like a 2-page spread that tells you what talents they have, or what techniques. Yeah, because they don't have talents, but what techniques, what spells, what abilities, and it basically, if you just read one of them, you would probably have a good idea on how to build one.
Yeah. See, and that's definitely up that's up my alley. The idea, I like advanced classes in games, anyways. I've kind of personally, I've kind of shifted away from a lot of class-based games into more skill-based games. But when I play a class game, I like the classes to have a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
And the talent development system that you've come up with is very, very good at doing that. It actually reminds me a lot of the Fantasy Age Dragon Age system, where again in that game you only have 3 classes that you start with. You could be a warrior, a rogue, or a mage.
Yeah.
But as you go through, you get to choose talents, and then at 6th level you choose a specialization, which is actually a talent. It's a talent tree.
So that's where you can pick up like Blood Mage and Reaver and Templar and all that.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so you can actually, so again, very similar to what I was saying earlier about playing like a whole party of rogues who feel different. Same thing is true in Dragon Age. You could have a party of warriors, and then once they hit 6th level, they're so different based on their talent choices and specializations of their skills and all that, that it's totally different characters.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's exactly what we wanted. And even within the advanced classes, 2 dragoons in Last Ark, one can be a dragoneer and ride a dragon or fight alongside a dragon, and the other one can just be a straight up lancer who jumps and dives and has no pet. So yeah, even in the advanced classes, there's split paths.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for me. Like I said, as far as systems go, I'm starting to appreciate talent-based games, because talent-based games, I think, give you more control over your character development than static abilities.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the way D&D has done it for years, but to me, it's very difficult in D&D to make 2 fighters feel different from each other, because they get the same abilities at the same level, so they kind of always feel very similar. Whereas with talents, you're gonna have 2 fighters that are gonna feel very different, especially once you add in attribute differences, and and then they're gonna probably go into different advanced classes and all that kind of stuff.
And then even equipment can help you fine tune your build even more, because every item has like different effects. And
which that is one thing that I'll say. I do appreciate the way you put it together. I'm not a build specific guy. I'm kind of hoping, as I get to read more of this game, that it doesn't, people who play it, I think it more is on the player than it is the actual game. That if I try to run it, it doesn't become a build centric experience. And that's not on you. That's on how people play. Where if you're not careful, people will start focusing too much on the mechanics and not on their character.
That's true. That's one thing that drove me away from like WoW recently, was people's obsession with the meta. And if you don't play the meta, you just you're not welcome.
And that's a shame. Like I said, because but again, that's not unique to your game at all. I mentioned to you earlier Mythcraft. Mythcraft uses a talent-based system as well. They have what are called talent stacks, And if you're not careful when you're going through that game and you're playing, you can fall into the bad habit of constantly focusing on the talent stack rather than just playing the character.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful when you're anytime you're talking about what we're talking about. Just as a warning to people who are going to run this game, guys. I would say when you're talking or you're trying to convince your group to play this game, focus on the talent part of the game, but don't make it such an emphasis that players start only focusing on that.
No, absolutely. I would hate for it to become overly meta.
Yeah.
I tried to avoid overlap everywhere I possibly could. I mean, there might be a little bit here and there, but I really didn't want certain classes to do one thing better than another. I wanted them to all focus on their own niche.
Yep.
So I'm
Yes.
hoping that will help avoid like those memes where I see like in D&D where the paladin can sneak better than the rogue because of some spell. I'm just like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not happening in my game. Like I said, that's again, don't take that as an affront to the way Last Ark is designed. That's something that happens in a lot of games. Anytime you start talking about any game that grants you options can turn into that, and that's a sad thing. Because it comes down to the players. The players have to be willing to stay focused on playing characters rather than playing mechanics.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I hope it doesn't devolve into a min-max meta storm, but like I said, if a group wants to play that way and there's a group that enjoys that side of it, then that's completely fair too. I just hope it doesn't push anyone out.
Yeah. That's like I said. If I'm running it, that's my hope is it doesn't turn into that.
Yeah.
Because that's not how I'd rather my players play characters that they're having fun with than a series of statistics, which isn't huge. Like I said, that's been a problem for me since 3.5 D&D. So
no, that's fair.
I've run into that a lot. But one of the other things that I joke with people all the time, and I actually mentioned this in a group chat. That there were full rules for airship combat, and a bunch of people are like, "Oh, it's just I could do like Fabulous tomorrow." Like, yeah, but you have airship combat rules. They're like, "Well, now that makes me interested." Yeah, me too.
I hope there's no disappointment when people realize that the combat rules for airships are very similar to the combat rules for the rest of the game because we wanted it to be easy to just play simultaneously alongside regular combat. But yeah. We've got them. We've got the port and starboard, the forward gun mechanics.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just that's a selling point to me. I mean, heck, let me take over airships. I'm okay with that. I don't care what the rules for combat are.
No, yeah, fair enough. We have a class coming in the Atlas called Aeronaut that's all about piloting airships and being the best airship pilot.
So basically, you're Sid from Final Fantasy VI.
Yes, and people were wondering, well, how does that work when you're not on your airship? Are you just useless? And I said, absolutely not. In fact, they get all these free mechanics and abilities as they level up that basically makes them play like a cannoneer from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2, where you just call in artillery strikes from your airship above, and it just kind of fires in and like hits things with cannons, and you have to like prime each shot. So you do have to do the whole spin turns between shooting, but you can change the ammunition, like chain shot, incendiary rounds, all kinds of different ammunition types. So it's really cool. It's very involved.
Yeah. And that's again that's a really neat idea. Giving abilities that interact with the story mechanically is a good way to build good characters. And avoid what we're just talking about doing meta builds where you're talking about a character that feels like on paper shouldn't be useful outside of one scenario, but because you've written mechanics to make him useful, he could be a lot of fun to see on the ground.
Yeah, I'm excited to see people play Aeronaut just to have the airship pilot or airship captain fantasy, but then like when they're on the ground, just calling in freaking artillery strikes on top of monsters is just wild.
Yes, I'm a big fan of that idea right then and there. You sold me on the class. I'm okay with that. I'm taking it as an advanced class.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, like I said, the the multi-classing system for Last Ark also is really nice in that your characters can multi-class at any point, um, which allows you to kind of mix and match the class abilities um, very easily. But at the same time, the way I was reading it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, uh, it really does a good job of you are giving something up to take those other class abilities. You're not just uh, you're not just a fighter rogue or fighter thief. You are a fighter with this set of abilities, and now you're giving up advancement as a fighter to gain these rogue abilities. Because you're going to give up talent selection and things like that to gain the second class.
Yeah, but yeah, and it doesn't reward you too much, but it doesn't punish you either. So
Yeah,
like
because
it
you don't
feels,
lose the talents you have.
yeah. It feels like a lateral move in
Yeah,
a lot of ways. Maybe
yeah,
maybe diagonal.
yeah,
It doesn't feel like you're not progressing. You are progressing, just
yeah,
slightly in a different
yeah,
direction now.
yeah. Like I said, it's a good way to feel. When I read it, it was very good to read that because it was like I said, you're not losing the ability that you have as a fighter to suddenly become another class, but at the same time, there's got to be some level of trade off. You're making a small trade off in that unless you go back to leveling as a fighter, you're not going to get any new abilities. You're
Yeah,
only going to get
exactly.
the abilities of that second class.
Yeah, whatever
So
class you're taking levels in is the class that's advancing.
yeah, and that's actually really nice because again, that leads into the advanced class concept as well because a lot of the advanced classes, from reading them, they feel a little bit like hybrids almost, not exactly, but a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
think
of
you're right.
yeah, they feel a little hybridy, where they get abilities that mimic different classes, base classes at the same time. So a lancer feels a little bit like a rogue and a fighter. Not exactly. It's not an exact analog, of course, but you're when you read him, he doesn't feel like he feels from a talent perspective like he can do a little of both of those classes,
Yeah,
which is not.
he's more maneuverable and has those big bursty hits as opposed to making a lot of attacks or big swinging attacks. He does like the
Yeah,
very precision strike burst damage that like a rogue would do, but
yep,
with a lance. Yeah, yeah. No, I think you're right. I
yep,
agree with you.
yep. Yeah, like I said, anything I say that I'm completely wrong on, you feel free to correct me. It's just this is what I've gathered from going through the books. Through the book, it's just very, very complex. The other thing that I'll say, and this is, it's going to sound like a negative, but it's actually a selling point for me. Is it's one of those games that, from a 1,000-foot view, just looking at the character sheet, it seems like it should be very complicated. But once you start reading the book, it is very simple. There's
Yeah,
not
that's
a lot of
100%.
complication to it.
100%. It looks a lot more complicated than it is because most of the mechanics are pretty well streamlined, but not
Mm-hmm.
to a point that you've sacrificed too much depth. And that was my goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's a big thing because a lot of newer games they create a lot of new subsystems and side systems and everything else. And Lada, the subsystems really spin directly off of the core system. It doesn't feel like you need to learn a whole new subsystem to cast magic. You don't need a whole new subsystem to control aeons. Uh,
Correct. Yeah.
it's one system that might have some twist on it to do all of that, which is good. That's a good way to handle it. A lot of older games used to do that, and somewhere around the 2000s, people started thinking that complexity equaled good gameplay, so they started writing really complex subsystems.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the opposite. I don't even like meta currencies. That's why you won't see a lot of that in Last Ark.
Yep. Yeah. Uh, I'm actually torn on meta currencies. I've seen them work well in games, and then I've seen them be terrible. So, a
Um,
good example. Well, a good example of one that works is the Conan Doom pool. Works really well, but like Eberron's action points, yeah,
yeah, I guess in a way, hero points are like the meta currency,
yep,
and that's about it. Everything else, especially that you'll find in like Atlas and future content, if
mm-hmm.
there's something that you can, if there's a currency or a class currency, it's an item that you have to find and buy and actually use in game.
Okay. See that,
So,
and
yeah.
that's actually a good way to handle it. Like I said, meta currencies are like I said, they can be done well, but they are very tricky to pull off. I, actually, stupidly enough, my favorite meta currency system actually comes out of the Firefly RPG by Margaret Weis Productions. You can actually get what's called the Big Damn Hero Die, um, which is its own special mechanic. And basically, what happens is, as long as you have access to it, at any point you can add it to a pool
Oh, that's
to
cool. I like that.
make a more epic event or a more epic like skill roll or something like that. Because the way that game normally works is no matter how many dice you roll, you only keep two. So you can roll, 8 dice and only keep two of them. With a big damn hero die, not only do you roll it into the pool, you automatically keep it as well as the top 2 dice.
Oh, that's cool. I actually like that. It's pretty elegant.
Yeah, yeah. And you get it by critically succeeding at task. So
What is it?
it's pretty unique.
Was it in Pathfinder? I played an alchemist in Pathfinder 1. I think you
Mhm.
got bombs per day. I don't know if that counts as a meta currency, but it felt arbitrary and strange to just my alchemist wakes up and I have this many bombs ready to go for that day, and
Yeah,
once I use them, I can't make any more. So
yeah,
we have like future content on the way. We have an alchemist. You can make as many bombs and throw as many bombs as you can afford to make and throw.
like, exactly. And that's how alchemist should be.
Yeah.
I, I'm a I've always been really hesitant around crafting based classes because so much of my crafting experience in RPGs comes out of 3.x, and the
Yeah.
crafting system for 3.x was such a mess.
I won't argue with you. I won't argue with you.
So I've always been very hesitant about crafting based classes. I'll actually have to see what you plan to do with it before I can make up my mind.
We only have two in the works that will be not in the Atlas that's releasing now, but we have it planned for our next book. We have the Alchemist and the Artificer.
Okay.
And we have ways that kind of make the whole crafting experience. I think crafting is already pretty streamlined in Lada. A lot of
Yeah.
people seem to like it. Think it's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward. These classes just make it even easier and faster
Okay.
to implement and use during the game.
Yeah.
And then
Uh,
Artificer is going to have
yeah.
like an automaton they can build and use. An Alchemist will involve guns and bombs and stuff. So
I'm okay with all
yeah,
that. You can sign me up for that one. Like I said, I'm a big fan of off the wall classes in general. Anyways, I play a lot of when I'm playing games that have a lot of class options. I try to find them as like obscurely weird class I can play. I played a Sacred Fist in D&D 3.5.
you say
So
Sacred Fist?
I played a sacred. He was a favored soul Sacred Fist.
Oh, nice.
It was a weird character. He was a lot of fun. We broke the build concept, and he could physically strike with his bare hands at 10th level for 3d20 damage.
Oh wow, holy yeah.
He was dumb.
Well, if
He
you
was
like
dumb.
bizarre classes, we have a couple coming in the Atlas that are pretty strange. We've got I think you might like the Magnate. I don't know. It's basically a merchant class. You use money as a
Okay.
weapon and as a resource to manipulate enemies in battle or even take control of them.
Um, Correct me. You tell me right without pulling it up. You guys don't have a gambler class yet, correct?
We have one in our future content. That's also coming in
Okay.
the book with Alchemist and Artificer. We have the
Okay.
Bard has a gambler talent tree that builds into the Corsair, which is a gunner
Okay.
gambler hybrid inspired
Okay.
by 11 FF11.
Okay. So my favorite character for Final Fantasy is Setzer.
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll have a gambler in our next book that we'll try to release in like the coming year. So I can't give any information on that really. I can just tell you we
uh,
do have a gambler in the pipeline though.
I
It's
I'm
very
not
pirate
gonna.
themed.
I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not going to try to pry anything out of you that you'd rather keep close to the chest.
It's in our Patreon. Like you can
Yep.
see all that content
Yep.
that we're
Yes.
playtesting now for future use.
Yep.
But
Yes. Um, yeah. I'm looking forward to. Like I said, uh, I'm probably going to wait for the full release before I run Last Ark. Mostly because I've already got one game going right now, um, and we're so close to getting the full release, anyways. So
yeah, I
I'm
don't
probably
blame
just
you.
going to wait. Probably just going to wait for it, the full release book. But once I start running this, I do hope to get a decent group together for it because it's definitely said scratching an itch that a lot of people don't realize it kind of existed. There is a reason that JRPGs are starting to fold into the tabletop space, and it's because they do translate so well to the tabletop, especially
Yeah,
tactical ones.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, hell, the first Final Fantasy was inspired by um, old
Sword World
school
and
D and
D&D.
D. Yeah,
Yep.
and then Lotus War and Sword World was inspired by D&D. So it's funny that it would
I
all come.
just wa- I just watched all of Lotus War about 5 months ago.
I love both the OVA and the series are
Yes,
great.
I love Lotus War.
Yeah,
I actually have Grand Crest 4 on Blu-ray.
Lotus War is why our Berserker class functions the way it does because Orson was so unhinged, and that's what I think of when I hear Berserker. So when you
Yes.
play Berserker in Last Ark, you are making the choice to surrender control of your character to madness and randomness sometimes.
Hey, that works for me. I that that's one of the issues with the barbarian classes in modern D&D is they
They're very
don't feel
tame.
like barbarians. Yeah, they're very
Yeah,
tame. They don't feel like barbarian classes. And, the berserker barbarian class should be kind of unhinged and dangerous. And uh, my favorite barbarian class I've ever experienced comes from Dragon Warriors, where you can literally sacrifice your defense to increase your offense.
yeah, that's awesome.
Um, and so you can just be like, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go to defense 0 to make sure I whack this guy.
What I like
Yeah,
Lada's even in the early stages in the barbarian talent trees, like you can pick talents that let you just deal damage even as you're missing because you're that
nice.
dangerous and that reckless and unhinged that even failed attacks are pumping damage.
Yeah, yeah, I'm okay. Again, I am perfectly okay with this. As far as the mechanics go on that, I like the idea of barbarians being barbarians and being kind of brutal.
Yeah,
Um, it's the as far as character builds and stuff go and character concepts go, that's how I've always envisioned. I envision when I think of berserkers, I think of Guts from
yeah,
Berserk. Which is like he loses his mind and they like it's not always the person he means to, but people die.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the my favorite scenes in Chronicles of the Heroic Knight, the series, is when Orson goes like berserk for the last time. Oh, I mean, get spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't seen Lotus War. I guess tune out for a second. And he doesn't. He's initially attacking the people he wants to, but then toward the end of it, he's walking up with his weapon raised toward his own friends.
Yep, that's how it should be. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the tactical RPG, anyways, and that's probably one of the good things that you kind of staple that ladder onto the idea of something like Saga Edition and Pathfinder. in that it is able to do a more tactical combat system,
Yeah.
a la, uh, Fire Emblem or Tactics Ogre. Um, I tend to run Theater of the Mind myself, but there are games that I've definitely read and owned that you really need a physical representation on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know where the idea that needing a map is always bad
No,
came from.
I prefer it personally, but that's just how I learned to play. I just enjoy
Yeah,
the
yeah,
theater of the mind's cool. I don't mind that, and I think you still need theater of the mind, even when you have maps and pawns. Those aren't like fully animated, articulated scenes. You still need theater of the mind, but I think it helps for the tactical gameplay side of things. That's what I
yeah,
want. That's what I'm looking for.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I love the whole idea of tactical combat. As far as the combat system goes, I haven't spent as much time in the combat chapter as I'd like, but it's definitely, the way combat works. Like we were talking earlier, you have your hit point damage, you have all the standard stuff, but the big thing is the idea of using the condition track, the idea of using, you know, uh, opportunity attacks, all that kind of stuff is all in there, which is great.
Yeah, I really, and that's something I really wanted to do. In Saga, you could use your lightsaber to block attacks. That was about it. So I wanted to take it all the way to shields can block attacks, spells. You can even use dodge. Is not just a +1 to your armor class. It's dodge is an active ability to use or your acrobatics to dodge, to move out of the
Yep.
way and not get hit.
Yes.
Parry, counterattacks. I wanted to add a lot more reactive gameplays so people were
Yes.
like on their turns, still paying attention,
Yes.
or not
Well,
on
and
their turn when it's not their turn.
yeah. Well, that's again. I've played so many different games, and there's little things I've taken from different games that I think people would benefit from. For example, Dragon Wars. If you're carrying a shield and you get hit, you roll a d6 on a 6. The shield absorbs the attack,
Oh,
no
that's
matter
cool.
if it hits you or not.
Yeah.
So it's just like having a shield in Dragon Warriors is actually kind of important.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It should be more than just a small armor accessory.
Yes.
Be active defense.
Yep. The that was one of the things they changed in Unearthed Arcana for 3.0 that kind of got swept under the rug. That I absolutely adored was they put in optional rules for active defense rather than a static armor class. Uh, Instead of having 10 plus, you would get a bonus to your armor class would total up, and you would roll a d20 and add those bonuses to the d20 roll for an active defense.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
We
like
use
that.
those roles a little bit. I actually like the active defense systems. Anima uses an active defense system, and it makes the game a lot more dynamic.
Oh yeah, so
Also,
much.
because in Anima, if you get hit and you haven't acted, you lose your action.
Oh wow, that's brutal.
Yeah. So you want to get out of the way.
Yeah, and last arc it's just damn hits can be like brutal. So you've seen the
Yep.
weapons; they have multiple damage dice on weapons,
Yep.
explosive dice. You add half your level plus your modifiers to damage. It's
Yep.
if you get hit, it's gonna hurt. So your armor's adding to damage reduction. Your skills allow you to try to negate hits. Even the bard has a talent called appeal that lets them like try to like talk themselves out of getting hit. It's so dumb, but it's fun.
Hey, whatever works, right? That's a good
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Like, hey
but
man.
You sure you want to do this? No, I'm pretty positive I want to beat you in the face right now. Yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan of that whole idea of dynamic combat. Uh, I actually have a video on the channel talking about using descriptions in combat to make them more dynamic as well. And dynamic combat is another way to make it more dynamic because, like a lot of RPGs anymore, when you watch them get played, it's like, okay, you get hit for 4 points of damage. That's so boring to me. That's just boring.
Yeah,
Whereas if you're playing a more dynamic system, the way you can describe things is so much better. You dodge out of the way, you can fully describe the way that it looks when you dodge the sword narrowly missing you, or your shield catching the blow, or the bard talking his way out of getting ganked.
yeah. I think, and that never even occurred to me until you just pointed it out that like, even back when my buddies and I would play TTRPGs, like my friend said, "Oh, I'm gonna brace on this, to make my shot," and
Mhm.
nothing in the game that said it. And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. So yeah, yeah, you get a plus 2 to your shot because that would help." It's
Yeah,
just GMs and players should, I guess it's on them to a point to take the initiative to like reward
yeah,
engaging with the game in their own ways, even outside the rules. That's the beauty of tabletop games, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
I'd love to encourage more of that. That'd be cool.
yeah. If you've never seen it, Exalted actually does that with what's called stunt dice. The more descriptive you are, the more you interact with the environment, the more uh, awesome the description is of what you're doing, the more stunt dice you get.
Oh, that's cool. No, I like that. I wish I'd have thought about that before we printed last right now. No.
Well, it's a cool idea because, like, what it does is because if you don't know what Exalted is it's basically Wushu superheroes. And so, like, you can describe it as, okay, I kick the guard in the face. Okay, well, that's fine. That gets the point across. But if you want stunt dice, you go to the GM and you're like, okay, I put my legs against the wall, I'll springboard off into a flying dragon kick, landing squarely into the guard's chest, driving him back into the gate.
Yeah,
You're going to get stunt dice on that because of the description. You're using the environment.
that's cool. Yeah, that's something we just did without even really thinking about it back when I played. Um, no, I like that. It's
I
rewarding
love I,
engagement.
I yeah I'm like I said, dynamic combat adds to that because, like I said, because now you have these options that are mechanical that allow you to open up description.
Yeah,
Now you have a reason to describe how the shield block looks, how the dodge works, what does the hit look like. It's Your combats are going to feel a lot cooler with that type of combat than if you're just looking and you're staring at it.
yeah,
Just by saying, okay,
yeah. What is it? Because I'm a big war gamer. I loved playing like Warhammer fantasy
mhm,
tabletop games. I love
mhm,
tactical military games in general, like Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I love those games.
mhm,
So I'm not. I don't even get as bored when combat devolves to just like rolling and like saying whatever is
yep,
happening.
yep,
That didn't even bother me because I'm a war gamer. But
yep,
I can see how it's not as appealing to others, especially not for streaming content.
yeah. I was gonna say that's probably why it bothers me so much is I tend to stream my games and I
Yeah,
want people to really feel what's going on in the combat situation.
yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm to a point. Like I said, I've been playing Rogue Trader with my friends, and I'm basically murder hoboing my way through the game because I just want to play the combat that much.
You're the guy that played Sides of Numenera, a game designed to where you can literally go through the entire thing without fighting a single fight, and you will pick every fight you can.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's why I keep like spiraling into villain arcs and like Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff because like I just want to fight. That for me that's the game. I want the action, the combat. I think when my friends are telling the stories and they're running the games, I'm more invested to see what they've come up with, but
Mhm.
When it comes to video games, tactical games, I just take the fight.
Now, funny story about Baldur's Gate 3. We were playing Baldur's Gate 3. We walked into the Druid Grove after a quest. My friends walked down. They're talking to the head Druid, right? I
Yeah.
walked down after them. To this day, we don't know what happened. I walked down after them. All of a sudden, the entire grove goes hostile and starts kicking the crap out of us. And I mean everybody, the head Druid included.
I
We had to reload.
stole something from a vendor while my friends were doing dialogue, and I got busted, but I was able to flee immediately. But then the whole town turned on them and started killing them. And then I had to like go help my wife unload groceries. So like I was safe while they were just getting massacred. And then I came back and was like, what happened?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've had some stupid things happen in video games. I tend to murder hobo a lot. I like Pillars of Eternity, mostly because you can't really murder hobo your way through Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah. I like
um,
murder hoboing in video games, not so much in like the actual tabletop RPG. Like I said,
Me either.
I don't crap all over my buddies' hard work and stories.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. If you want to play a game where murder hoboing in a video game is absolutely encouraged, go play Tyranny. You play the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I've seen videos of that game.
I love that game. Killing innocent people is just this side of the right thing to do in that game.
That's like old school, right?
Yeah. It's a little older now. I think it came out in 2014.
2014? Oh, okay, maybe it's not as old as I thought.
I think it's 2014. It
Huh?
came
I
out
thought
before,
it was
so
older.
it's the precursor to Pillars of Eternity.
Okay.
It's made by the same people.
I don't know why I thought it was older. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game.
It's it's a lot of fun though. It's you get to play the bad guys, but you can actually kind of go on a redemption arc if you play it right. But you can also be like evil to your heart's content.
Is that the game where they're like on the cover art there's like a blue face of some kind?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then yeah, that's the game. Yeah.
We have a lot of fun with that game when I play it. I actually just started up another Dragon Age Origins run through as a dwarf warrior. So.
Oh, Dragon Age Origins. I always go Blood Mage or Reaver. If it's
I normally go Assassin.
Oh, Assassin's cool too. I played Assassin in Dragon Age 2. That was a lot of fun. But in like Fable and KOTOR, I always go side. I'm a I kind of like video games. I just like to murder hobo.
So you play the Jedi Sentinel with 2 lightsabers.
Yeah, and in the first KOTOR, I went full dark side. Even when I tried to play the light side path, I always end up going side anyway. KOTOR 2, Sith Lord, and then in the Old Republic Online, all my characters were dark side. Even my Jedi Knight fell to the dark side.
That sounds about right. I'm okay with this. I really am. But yeah, just
sorry, we went on a tangent there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
bad at
I don't want to keep you. I don't want to keep you too much longer. Try to keep these around an hour, anyways. Just real quick, and I'll let you kind of close out. But you do have a Patreon. I forgot to link it in the description. I'll try to put it in a pinned comment on YouTube so you guys can find it. It starts at what, $5 a month?
It used to, I'm gonna start. I'm probably gonna reorganize it, but it used to go like to get all the content. You had to go to $10, but now we've dropped it to $5, and you can access everything. $3 will just get you like a demo, and then $5 will get you all the future content that we're playtesting in our Discord and stuff.
Okay. And then, of course, in that pinned comment, if you don't mind, I'll probably go ahead and add the Discord as well because it's on the website that I linked. But I'll go ahead and link it on the YouTube as well.
And there's a ton of classes and more equipment options in our future content playtest document that, like everything we talked about here that is not in the core book or the atlas that's coming out is in this document. So For $5 a month, you can see everything we have on offer in the near future.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm on the Patreon. I'm on the Discord as well, for sure. And I did link the Game Found as well. We were talking about that earlier. That will be going to Pledge Manager, hopefully by the end of this coming up week.
Yeah.
If everything goes according to plan.
Yeah, we'll be at Gen Con and run it there.
Yep. And if you're at Gen Con, do you know what booth you're at yet, or?
I'll be I'll be at the Succubus Publishing booth for the most part, but on Thursday and Saturday, I'll be running demos for Last Ark, kind of going over the rules, character creation, combat, some mock encounters at the Foreteller booth. So if anyone's at there, you come say hi.
Yeah, so you guys feel free to go by, say hi. Like I said, guys, this game is worth checking out. I've been like I said to you earlier, I've been following you guys for a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, somewhere in that range. So I've seen everything. Like I said earlier, I've been there when you were still 0 point something demos.
Yeah, yeah. I'm embarrassed. No, I'm kidding. It all built towards something. I think what we have now is amazing. I can't wait to see what everyone thinks when they start playing it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. If you do back at the Game Found level, even for late pledges, the physical books will be about $60 a piece, give or take, minus shipping. And then the PDFs are 30-ish, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So they're available. There's plenty of add-ons as well that you guys have done as well. So go check out the Game Found. Keep your eye on it if you guys want to check this out and back it at the starting ground. But other than that, it has been cool to have you on here, dude. I appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me. Sorry, I'm really bad at rabbit trailing and tangents.
You're talking to an expert.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about and so many influences and inspiration. I get carried away.
I'm in the same boat. Don't you have nothing to apologize for. But yeah, check out Last Ark, check out the Patreon, check out the Discord, and if you're on the Game Found, grab the demo off the Game Found. It is missing some stuff on the Game Found demo.
Yeah.
Does not have the airship combat, the summoner, the Aeon rolls, or the advanced classes, I believe. But the majority of the game is there. You can see what it looks like. And if you join the Patreon, you can get the premium demo off the Patreon, so which has all that missing content. So, yeah. Well, Dustin, I appreciate it, man. And hopefully you guys continue having good luck. I'm glad you guys got funded, especially as fast as you did.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to see what the future holds for Last Ark. Thank you, everyone, for checking it out.
Go ahead. Yeah. And for everyone who watched, I don't know who all watched. I've had a couple of viewers kind of fluctuate, so I don't know who all was watching. We appreciate it. Anyone who watches in the future, go check it out. There will be links. There is no excuse. I will make sure you have no excuse.
Yes, be on the right side of history. No, I'm kidding.
If you don't, we're going to mail you curses.
Yeah.
But either way, guys, everyone out there in the real world, take it easy. You guys can always leave your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. Always follow my 3 rules for the love of God. No ad hominem, no picking fights. Don't leave me college dissertations. I'm not reading them. I read enough of those. Either way, guys, take it easy, and I hope to see you.